Hello and welcome back once again to the Wrestling Rant. I just got done watching the worst episode of Raw in a long damn time. It was Monday, October 28th, 2013 from Orlando, Florida. This show was fucking garbage! From top to bottom, with only one good thing happening. The show starts off with picture recaps from Hell in a Cell, mainly showing the match between Ryback and Punk, and also showing pics from Orton and Bryan, the Hell in a Cell for the WWE title. Yeah. After that, the announcers say that we're going to get an explanation from Shawn Michaels later on about why he did what he did last night. We're also going to get a celebration for Orton winning the title also later. And they also say that we're going to have another stupid vote on the app for the stipulation for a match that's going to take place later tonight, CM Punk versus Ryback. So it's still not over. Yeah, I think they also announced what the stipulations were at that point. Let me see if I can find them here. I had them in my notes somewhere. Alright. Yes. Okay. The possible stipulations for the match: a street fight, a Falls Count Anywhere match, or a tables match. We'll get to that later. John Cena comes out, carrying his newly acquired World Heavyweight Championship, and still sporting his little black elbow brace. He calls it a brace. It looks like a pad to me. He comes out and he talks for a while, and just basically saying that, you know, people didn't think I could come back and win the world title with my arm still hurt and yada yada. He finally gets done with his promo, and it looks like he's getting ready to leave. But then Damien Sandow's music hits, and the crowd blows up because they're like, oh shit, it's time for a cash-in. He comes out carrying the briefcase and a microphone. He gets in the ring, and he talks as well, talking about how he could cash in at any time. He even teases a cash-in, but then he stops. And he goes to leave the ring, and as he passes by Cena, I think he kind of like shoulder bumps him or something, but Cena, I guess, took that as an insult and started to go to attack Sandow, but Sandow beat the holy shit out of Cena. Knocked him around, punches and kicks, threw him to the outside of the ring, and hit him with a chair a couple of times, threw him into the ring steps, got the steps pulled away from the thing, took the top part off, put the big part on down flat on the floor, put Cena's arm on the flat part of the stairs, and then took a chair and whacked his arm, the hurt arm. So Sandow just destroys Cena. And he throws Cena back in the ring and continues beating on him. And then he calls for a referee. I'm cashing it in now. He cashes it in. But before we can actually get to that, they have to cut to a goddamn commercial. We come back, and the match is pretty much just starting. Sandow is focusing on the arm. He focuses on it for a while. There's another commercial break. After that, Cena is able to kind of come back and get Damian up, and he hits the attitude adjustment, but he collapses afterwards, and Sandow rolls out of the ring. Cena's being checked on by the ringside doctor, and then Cena goes over and picks up Sandow and rolls him back into the ring, and he has to struggle to do so because his arm is still hurt. As soon as he gets Sandow back in the ring, he goes for the STF, but since his arm is still fucked up, he can't lock the STF in, because he doesn't have the use, really, of his left arm. Right. Last night, the pre-show match where Sandow beat Kofi, he used the full Nelson Slam, as I said. Apparently, he calls this "You're welcome." He goes for it on Cena, but Cena counters it. After that, Sandow is able to lock in the crossface on Cena, but Cena is somehow able to power out of it. Sandow finally is able to hit the "You're welcome," but it's not enough to beat Cena. Cena makes his comeback, he hits the fucking attitude adjustment again, and he gets the win. So Sandow wasted his cash in. We got kicked in the nuts last night when Randy won the WWE title, and now we get kicked in the nuts again. They cut backstage where we get a Shield promo. Their classic sort of promo where they're holding the camera and focusing. It's mainly Ambrose talking about how he's still the U.S. champion and he's still the only member of the Shield who has a title. And he's talking about how he has a rematch against Big E Langston later on tonight. And he says, believe that. And then Rollins and Reigns are just kind of staring at Dean like, what the fuck? He just kind of threw him under the bus by saying, they don't got belts anymore. Roman finally has to grab the camera and go, believe in the Shield. And I'm like, don't even fuck these guys up. Damn it. They cut to another commercial. When we come back, more talking about the app vote for the stipulation for the Punk and Ryback match. The Shield is already in the ring, all three of them. It's time for the U.S. title rematch. Big E comes out, and they recap the cuts that both guys had on their face from Hell in a Cell. I mentioned that Big E was bleeding. He had a cut under his eye. Not only did he get a cut under his eye, Ambrose had a cut on the bottom of his chin. And it's just like I said, when Big E kind of avalanche shotted Ambrose's chin caught Big E under the eye, and it split them both open. There's actually a short video on WWE.com of the two of them getting stitched up. It's all black and white, but, And hell, Ambrose even mentioned that during the promo. But whatever. After the recap, it's time for the match. Rollins and Reigns are at ringside during the match, so guess what happens? They interfere in the match, of course. DQ. Big E wins by DQ. They go to beat him down. They go to give him the triple power bomb, but out of nowhere come the Usos to make the save. Brad Maddox comes out on the stage and he says, "Alright, tag team matches, players, holla holla holla." Yeah, we get a 6-man tag. But not before we get another fucking commercial break. They go to the commercial, and when they come back, yes, the 6-man Shield versus Big E and the Usos. This one turned out to be decent. The only two major highlights, though, from the match was after countering a superplex attempt by Rollins, Rollins was knocked down and one of the Usos was left on the top rope. He goes for the big Superfly splash, but Rollins gets his knees up. What ends up happening shortly after that spot is the other Uso came in to get rid of Reigns, who had come in, but one of the Usos got dumped out. No. Rollins gets dumped out of the ring. Reigns had been tagged in, and Reigns ducked a double clothesline, hits the ropes, and spears both Usos at the same time. And then he covered the legal one for the 1-2-3, and so the Shield wins the match. So, despite the teasing of dissension earlier, they're still able to beat the punk-ass Usos and Big E. Once again, they hype up Orton's celebration, and HBK's explanation is going to be next, and then they cut to another commercial. After the commercial, Shawn comes out to hardly any reaction, by the way. After screwing over Bryan last night, deservedly so, he got hardly anything. Shawn was even trying to slap fives with some of the people along the aisleway, and there was one guy with a yes, yes, yes sign who said nope, wouldn't touch his hands. Yeah. Fuck you, Michaels. You fucked everything up last night. But he gets in the ring and he talks for a bit, and he says, I want to apologize to Daniel, but I want him to come out here face to face with me so I can apologize like a man. So Bryan comes out and he's deadpan. Totally serious. No more, no smiles, no upbeat, no positive, no yes shit. He comes out, he's stone-faced. He walks down to the ring, he gets in the ring, he doesn't say a word, he doesn't even grab a microphone. Shawn tries to explain. He says that what you have to understand is Triple H is my best friend. That's never gonna change. You attacked him last night. Yada yada. There was a "you sold out" chant. A huge one directed at Shawn. Yada yada yada. He's trying to apologize. And then he tries to say, listen, last night I took you to finishing school. You know, after training him in the early days, I took you to finishing school last night. I tried to teach you the final lesson. In this business here in the WWE, you can't trust anyone. Not even your former mentor, not even your best friend. You can't trust anyone. He offers his hand to Bryan to shake. Bryan don't want to. Shawn turns basically and starts yelling at him, saying, you know, for the last 7 months or whatever the fuck, I had to listen to people saying that you were a B+ player and I was trying to defend you, but maybe I was wrong. Yada yada yada, all this shit. He says, now damn it, shake my hand. He puts his hand out again, and Bryan's looking at the crowd, looking around, and they're all like, no, of course. But Bryan grabs Shawn's hand and he shakes it, only for a brief minute, as he drags Shawn down, puts him in the fucking yes lock, and starts trying to rip him in half. This is the only good thing that happened in the night. A bunch of referees have to come down to get Bryan off, to break it up. And I think it's kind of funny that with Shawn talking about defending Triple H and them being best friends, you know, I super kicked you to make up for you kneeing, you know, Triple H in the face. With all that talk, Triple H was nowhere to be found during this segment. He didn't come out to stop Bryan. He didn't do shit. So it goes to show you how much Triple H really cares about the friendship, doesn't it? Anyways, after that segment, they say Kane returns to Raw later on. Commercial break. We come back, and Bryan is backstage with Renee Young, looking like it's about time for another one of those interview segments. However, before Renee can even really say anything, the lights cut. And that stupid fucking Wyatt music hits. And then the blackout goes away, and of course there's Harper and Rowan, who start beating the shit out of Bryan. They beat him up, they take him away from the interview area and over back towards this other thing, where Bray is shown leaning up against this piece of a chain link fence, which is like a wall or something, holding something. They kind of throw Bryan over towards him, and Bray decks him, and then grabs him, and he cinches him up for the Sister Abigail. And he says, "The devil made me do it." He kisses Bryan on the forehead like he always does, and he does the Sister Abigail, but he does it so that he smacks Bryan's face up against the chain link fence thing. And then Bray kind of does his stupid little whimsical dancing bullshit, kind of humming a tune. He spins around, grabs one of the, what are they, the big trunks that's on wheels, that's often backstage. He grabs that and runs it into Bryan's face. And then he walks away. And of course they do the stupid cutaway gag again. Back in the arena, Los Matadores come out with the stupid little El Torito bull guy. And then 3MB comes out. Yes, they actually get an entrance for once. The three of them come out, and Heath Slater is carrying a big freaking net on a pole. Like, this is like a big fish catching net. Like a big one. Apparently, they're gonna try and catch El Torito with this stupid net. But anyways, we have a match. The Matadors versus McIntyre and Jinder Mahal. The match sucks. On the outside of the ring, Slater tries to catch El Torito with the net, but fails. Torito goes under the ring to run away from Slater. Slater looks under the ring, gets sprayed with a fire extinguisher, which is enough of a distraction that enables the Matadors to hit their Samoan Slam finish on Mahal or whoever the fuck ever it was. They win the match. After the match, one of the Matadors grabs the big net and puts it over Slater. And then Slater gets hit a couple of times by El Torito. What the fuck ever. Another commercial break, and when we come back, AJ comes out with Tamina. And even though Roberts, the ring announcer, said this was going to be a Divas title match, the commentators were quick to correct him. It's actually a tag team match. The Bellas come out. Whatever, this match was another crappy Divas match. AJ is able to lock in the Black Widow on one of the Bellas and she gets the win. Who gives a fuck? More Kane hype. His match is up next and he's going against The Miz. Of course, after choke slamming him last night. Yeah, that's up next. They cut to another commercial. When they come back, Kane comes out, Miz comes out, and he's still selling being hurt. I just want to make a note of that because Cena is still hurt with his arm. He doesn't sell it. And they keep comparing him to Superman. But anyways, back to the thing at hand. Kane and Miz. This is essentially a squash match. Kane beats the hell out of the Miz. Miz is able to break free or make a comeback. He goes up to the top rope and jumps down on Kane like he's gonna, big axe handle crown him or whatever the fuck. Kane catches him by the throat, choke slams the fuck out of him, and pins him. Match didn't even last all that long. This was a squash. After the match, Kane gets a mic and he talks. He calls out Stephanie for some reason. She comes out onto the stage and she says, yeah, I think this is close enough. Kane says, you've been ruining people's lives, firing people, throwing your power around and all this shit. But at the end of the day, it is what's best for business. And then he says, the monster is yours to command. Or yours to unleash, is what he says. Kane gets out of the ring, walks up the ramp to Stephanie, takes his mask off with the wig that's attached to it, and he hands it to Stephanie. And then Kane walks through the curtain and leaves. Stephanie's left there holding his mask. She holds it up and she's smiling and, you know. What in the fuck? I will get to my analysis of this after I get through the rest of the show, because I have some ideas about where some of this shit is going to go. But anyways, we cut backstage to, if you remember, I don't know if it was a couple of weeks ago, but it was the weird what the fuck segment with R-Truth trying to sell merchandise. Well, we basically get that same thing again, but instead of R-Truth, it's the Primetime Players. They're trying to sell merchandise, and they give some online coupon code for WWE.com, just like Truth did before. Whatever. After that, they cut to a video that was released on WWE.com a couple of days ago. Apparently, the Big Show has filed a lawsuit against the WWE. They cut to this video of our resident lawyer guy, David Otunga, who's been missing for several months, as you might remember. He's been missing since even before WrestleMania when I started doing this show. But he wasn't a very good wrestler, so I don't miss him. But the fact of the matter is, he is a real lawyer. He's a better lawyer than he is a wrestler, so I think he should stick to being a lawyer. Anyways, this little segment is just a video of him basically giving his analysis of the Big Show's lawsuit, in which he basically says, yeah, Big Show's lawsuit is legit, and it could cost the WWE millions of dollars. And ultimately, I think he also said it could also cost the WWE control of their company. With this lawsuit, it seems like Big Show could almost stand to gain control of the WWE if this lawsuit is successful. Yeah. After that, Punk's music hit and he comes out. And he talks about how he beat up Heyman and Ryback last night and how he's going to do the same thing to Ryback tonight, depending on what the people vote for with the stupid app vote. And the commentators say, okay, well, we still got more time left on the app vote. We got to cut to another commercial, so keep those votes coming in, and we'll see the results after this break. And so they cut to a commercial. When we come back, they play a recap of Michaels getting broken in half by Bryan earlier, and the Wyatts attacking Bryan. We come back, and Jerry Lawler gives the results of the app vote. The street fight wins by a huge margin. But then again, a Falls Count Anywhere match isn't much different, and a tables match would just be boring. And it would be way too quick. So anyways, Ryback comes out without Heyman. Heyman's apparently gone. So we get the match started up. Punk and Ryback street fight. It turns out to be a decent match. They break out a table anyways. Punk hits Ryback with a kendo stick again, yada yada yada. Ryback ends up falling onto the table again, just like at the Hell in a Cell last night. And Punk goes up, does the Macho Elbow through the table, and then immediately locks on the Anaconda Vice on Ryback. And they're right in the middle of the ring. Ryback's got nowhere to go. He has to tap out. So Punk wins. After the match, blackout. And the Wyatts music hits again. They do their whole entrance. When the lights come back on, Harper and Rowan try to jump Punk, but Punk still has the kendo stick, and he's able to kind of fight him off for a minute, but they still overwhelm him. They get him beaten down, and then Bray finally gets up off his ass in his stupid rocking chair. He gets in the ring, and he goes to hit Punk, and it's at this time that I noticed that Punk's busted open. He's bleeding from the forehead. Bray goes to hit Punk, but Punk headbutts him and starts trying to fight back, but of course Harper and Rowan are quick to, again, overwhelm him and beat him down. Bray gets him back up, cinches him for the Sister Abigail, kisses his bloody forehead. He hits the Sister Abigail, and he says again, "The devil made me do it." Stupid cutaway gag, and they go to commercial. When we come back, they recap what just happened. After that, the Real Americans come out with Zeb Coulter. And then Cody and Goldust come out. No, this is not a title match, it's just a tag team match. The Real Americans versus the Rhodes actually turned out to be a decent match, although it was kind of boring. There was a commercial break during the match, and what ended up happening is Swagger locked in the ankle lock on Goldust. Cody was able to come in and break it up, but Cesaro took Cody out or something. Swagger locked the ankle lock on Goldust again, and Goldust had to tap out. So the Real Americans win, shockingly. And cut to another commercial break. After that, they recap Sandow and Cena from earlier. It showed the beating before the match, and of course, Cena eventually winning the damn match. Del Rio's music hits, and he comes out. And he comes out with a big Mexican flag, and there's even a flag stand on the stage. But he comes out on the stage, and he talks about Cena, and he basically says that because since Sandow failed to win with his cash-in, Del Rio still gets a rematch against Cena for the title. So we have to sit through that shit again. That's basically the gist of that. And then Fandango's music hits, and out Johnny comes with Summer. But the commentators say, but this time it's actually Summer being accompanied by Johnny, because this is going to be a singles match between Summer and Natalya, because of the mixed tag match we got last night. But anyways, towards the end of their entrance, they cut to a commercial. When they come back, Khali's music hits. And I'm like, wait, if this is Natalya, why isn't it her music playing? But anyways, Natalya comes out with Khali and Hornswoggle. And we get a match between Summer and Natalya. And in probably the biggest surprise of the night, this match actually turned out to be decent. Summer and Natalya wrestled back and forth. And what ended up happening was, on the outside, Johnny grabbed Hornswoggle and threw him on his ass, and then turned around and got clobbered by Khali. And of course, this was enough of a distraction to throw Summer off. Natalya, double leg takedown, locks Summer in the sharpshooter, and Natalya actually wins for once. Summer had to tap out. Another commercial break. When we come back, the entire roster is on the stage, including Brad Maddox and Vicky Guerrero, our two general managers. And of course, the three members of the Shield are standing guard by the bottom of the aisleway. And then King of Kings hits, and out comes Triple H and Stephanie. They get in the ring and they talk. Well, it's mostly Triple H talking. He introduces Randy, and Randy comes out, and then Stephanie talks to basically segue into Randy. Randy talks, and he basically insults the entire roster by saying, I'm better than you, I'm the face of the company, yada yada yada. And then the Big Show's music hits. And I have to kind of back up, because earlier in the night, the commentators mentioned, I think it was towards the beginning of the show, the commentators mentioned that a restraining order had been put out against the Big Show. So he couldn't come to the arena. But he came out anyways, his music hits, and he comes out. The Shield, of course, are quick to try and stop him, but they don't do much, because after they get Show kind of beat down, down come the Usos and Cody and Goldust to run off the Shield. So the Shield's gone. They got chased off by Cody and Goldust and the Usos. Big Show gets up, and he rushes the ring. Triple H and Randy bail. They get out of the ring, and they're over by the commentators. And of course, Stephanie got out of the ring too. Show gets a microphone and he starts talking. He's fucking pissed. He's like, what are you gonna do? You're gonna have me arrested? I've got nothing to lose. I don't care anymore. After all you've done to me, and with this lawsuit that I have, it could cost you millions. And Show is just staring down Triple H this whole time. Randy comes from behind with the belt and clocks Show with it. Show's in the corner, he's kind of staggered. Randy goes to rush him again with the belt, but runs right into Big Show's fist. KO punch that knocks Randy the fuck out. Randy's down. Big Show starts yelling at Triple H again, challenging him to get in the ring. He's like, come on, motherfucker, get in here. And Stephanie's doing her best to try and hold back Triple H, and even Show has to be like, don't let your wife stop you, come on. Triple H is backing down, but he gets up on the apron, and he takes off his suit jacket, and he's loosened his tie, he takes the tie off, and the crowd is pumped. They're like, oh yeah, we're gonna see a fight. But then Triple H jumps down off the apron, and he backs down. And of course the crowd's booing, whatever the fuck. Show's music hits and he leaves. And finally, after Show gets out of the ring and leaves up through the ramp in the entranceway, Triple H finally gets back in the ring. And he doesn't even bother checking on Randy. Randy's just barely getting up at this point. And that's the end of the fucking show. Like I said, this episode of Raw sucked. From beginning to end, and the only good thing we got was Michaels getting broken in half by Daniel Bryan. Let me just run down the matches one more time before I get into my thoughts of the ideas of where this dumb shit storyline's going. Once again, Sandow cashed in on Cena. The match was decent, but why the fuck couldn't Sandow have won? I can't stand Cena holding any title. Sandow beat the shit out of Cena before the match, wailed on his arm with a chair between the steps, still couldn't beat him. And he continued wailing on Cena's arm the entire match, banging it against the ring mat, stomping on it. It was during the beatdown, he dragged Cena over into the corner. Cena was laying on his face, and he was whacking Cena's arm up against the ring post. Like, normally they do that with the leg, but he was doing that with Cena's arm, just ringing it around the ring post. Cena's arm should have been shot to shit. And not only that, but Cena went for a crossbody off the top rope again, and he missed, and it looked like he tweaked his knee too, because he went down clutching it afterwards. And it's like, so Cena's down an arm and a leg, and Sandow still can't fucking beat him. Despite Sandow just teeing off on Cena during this match, Sandow still looked like shit. A one-armed, one-legged Cena was still able to beat Damien Sandow, who was totally fresh. That is horse shit. And now we have to stomach Cena feuding with Del Rio more. As if that wasn't boring enough. Cena gets handed a world title match without earning it, wins, and now we have to continue with the feud because Sandow can't catch a fucking break. Moving on, the next match, Ambrose and Big E, which didn't last very long, wasn't really all that much there, turned into the 6-man, which was decent. The Matadors versus 3MB was crap. AJ and Tamina versus the Bellas was pretty much crap. Kane and The Miz was basically just a fucking squash. Punk and Ryback was decent. The Real Americans versus the Rhodes was again decent. Summer and Natalya was decent. And that's funny. Summer and Natalya was the last match on the card before the stupid Orton celebration ceremony. So that was basically your main event, was a Divas match. Okay, so that was the rundown of the matches. Now let's get to my thoughts on my ideas of where this shit's going. Okay, so obviously, Daniel Bryan and CM Punk have been taken out or beat up by the Wyatts. Why? We don't know. Wyatt's fucked in the head. We don't know what goes through his mind. I don't want to know what goes through his mind. But for some idiotic reason, him and his two goons have attacked CM Punk and Daniel Bryan, and now basically at this point, Bryan's completely out of the title picture. It looks like Big Show is going to be our conquering hero to beat Orton, take the WWE title, and stop the Authority. It looks like that's what's going to happen. But what I'm curious about is, who is this devil that Bray Wyatt keeps referring to? A lot of people are thinking, oh, it's probably Triple H. We're going to rehash the storyline from the Attitude Era where Undertaker was building up the Ministry, talking about the higher power, and it turned out to be Vince McMahon. And so this devil that the Wyatts are talking about is going to turn out to be Triple H. I'm not quite sure about that. I was thinking about it, and it dawned on me. Who have we seen in the past who has spread more chaos and darkness over his lengthy career in the WWE? The Undertaker. He has called himself the Lord of Darkness. Him and Kane fought over this concept of who was the devil's favorite demon. What if the devil that Wyatt is talking about is the Undertaker? What if the Wyatts are taking orders from the Undertaker? And think about it. Undertaker's last opponent at WrestleMania was Punk. And the Wyatts just attacked Punk. Don't know what the connection with Daniel Bryan is. That was completely random and what the fuck. So they did want to team up Bryan and Punk, but I thought it was going to be to go after the Authority, so I don't really understand what the fuck they're having them do going against the Wyatts. Who gives a fuck about the Wyatts? But it does raise some questions. What if it is The Undertaker? But then again, are the writers at the WWE really that smart to pull that one on us, or are they just going to go with the complete rehash of it being Triple H? Triple H will come out from under the hood. It was me, Brian! It was me all along! Of course, Triple H will probably turn out to be the devil. He might as well be. He sure as hell acts like the devil. And so Bryan is basically out of the WWE title picture from the looks of it. Sandow wastes his Money in the Bank cash in. Michaels gets his ass kicked, but that was the one glimmer of hope in this entire show. We actually got a decent Divas match. Now, if only they can bring up Paige and we can get some more decent matches. Hell, with Paige, we could actually maybe get some good Divas matches. And once again, they used the stupid angle with the entire roster out on the stage during Orton's little celebration. Why didn't the entire roster swarm the Shield and just beat the hell out of them? And then swarm the ring with the Big Show to just rip Stephanie and Triple H and Randy to pieces. The Authority is outnumbered 3 or 4 to 1 in that situation. You can't fire everybody, you won't have a show anymore. Because if you fire everybody, who's going to wrestle for your show? Stop using that angle. You've already overused it, and at this point, they really should revolt against you. You've insulted them, you've basically spit in their faces time and time again. I don't know if it would be the Big Show, but there needs to be a conquering hero who steps forward to shut the Authority down. Somebody needs to step up and challenge Triple H's punk ass to a match. Bring your punk ass out of retirement for one match. One-on-one, no interference allowed. Control of the WWE hangs in the balance. Somebody needs to rip Triple H's fucking head off. This storyline sucks. End of story. I'm sick of seeing Triple H, I'm sick of seeing Stephanie, and I'm sick of Randy. And I actually liked Randy. They made me fucking hate him. He's just fucking boring when all he is this corporate lapdog that does whatever the fuck Stephanie and Triple H want him to. Stephanie even told him to bring back the old Viper, the legend killer, the psychotic who would just fuck anybody's day up. He's not really that psychotic still. And him having to beat Bryan last night the way that he did, with Shawn kicking Bryan's head off first, basically still just makes Randy look like a bitch. Randy has not been able to beat Daniel Bryan once in their entire feud. Bryan had him beat the one time with the stupid fast count. Every other time, either somebody has interfered and screwed Bryan over. Well, actually, that is all that there was. Let's see, there was the one time where Big Show screwed it up, and then there was the last night where Shawn fucked it up. Randy has only been able to win because people screwed Bryan over. That makes Randy look like a bitch. Who is writing this garbage? Seriously, I really don't want to watch this shit anymore. It's boring. It's reverted back to the same shit it was 3-4 months ago where Bryan was getting his ass kicked every week by the Shield and Randy. It sucks! Fuck this show. Fuck the WWE. Fuck Triple H and Stephanie. I've had enough ranting about this shit for tonight. That was Raw. Once again, October 28th, 2013, Orlando, Florida. I'm fucking done with this shit for tonight. We will see you next time for the SmackDown spoilers or whatever. Join us then. Good night.